Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly special to share with you, a coin that captures a significant moment in American history. This isn't just any coin, it's the 2021 United States $quarter featuring the iconic, crossing the Delaware, design. For those who don't know, this quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which has been a huge hit with collectors since its launch. But what makes this coin even more fascinating is the artwork it showcases, the famous scene of General George Washington and his troops crossing the Delaware River during the American Revolution. It's a design that commemorates a pivotal event in U.S. history and one that you may not realize could be worth a whole lot more than you think. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the fascinating story behind this coin. By the end of the video, you might just be running to check your own collection, or maybe even hitting up your local coin shop to grab one. The Crossing the Delaware quarter was minted in 2021, and it is part of the ongoing America the Beautiful Quarters program. This program celebrates some of the most historically significant places and moments in the United States, with each coin paying tribute to a specific landmark or event. The quarter featuring Washington's crossing of the Delaware is one of the last coins in this series, and it's become one of the most sought-after designs among collectors. Now, let's talk about the design of this quarter. On the obverse, we have the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This is the design that's been featured on U.S. quarters since 1932. But it's the reverse side of the coin that steals the show. The artwork depicts George Washington leading his troops across the icy Delaware River in the dead of night on Christmas Eve, 1776. This famous scene, painted by Emanuel Leutze, is one of the most well-known moments of the American Revolution. The coin's design captures the drama and intensity of the crossing. You can almost feel the tension in the air as Washington leads his men into what would become a decisive moment in American history. The attention to detail in this design is incredible, and it's easy to see why collectors are so drawn to it. It's more than just a coin, it's a piece of American history, and that's what makes it so special. So, what's the big deal with this coin? Well, the 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter has become highly sought after because of its rarity and potential for errors. Let me explain. Like any collectible item, coins can vary in condition, and some coins may have imperfections or unique characteristics that set them apart. And these imperfections, or, in some cases, unique errors, are what make this coin so valuable. For example, there are some quarters from the 2021 release that feature minting errors such as double strikes or misaligned dies. These errors can make the coin even more valuable because they're essentially one of a kind. For collectors, these error coins are like the Holy Grail. They're incredibly rare, and finding one is like hitting the jackpot. In addition to minting errors, the condition of the coin is also crucial. Coins that are in excellent, uncirculated condition are always worth more than those that have been worn or damaged through circulation. The Crossing the Delaware quarter, especially in pristine condition, has been known to fetch far higher prices than the typical face value of 25 cents. And if you're lucky enough to find one with a rare error or unique characteristic, you could be holding a coin that's far more valuable than you might think. Collectors and investors alike have been watching the 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter closely, and for good reason. Coins from the America the Beautiful series are often seen as long-term investments, and this particular design has attracted a lot of attention due to its historical significance. It's a coin that tells a story of struggle, triumph, and the birth of a nation. But here's the kicker: the value of the 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter is not just based on its design, rarity, or historical importance. There's a price tag associated with this coin that might surprise you. If you manage to find a 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter in perfect, uncirculated condition, or if you happen to stumble upon one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a value of up to $66,000. That's right, $66,000. A single coin worth that much. It's hard to believe that something as small and simple as a quarter could be worth so much, but in the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are everything. And this particular coin, with its historical significance and potential for error, is exactly the kind of find every collector dreams of. So, if you have any of these quarters lying around, take a moment to check them out. Look for those unique errors, or simply check the condition of your coin. If it's in perfect shape, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Before you go running off to search for your own valuable coins, remember that collecting is about more than just the monetary value. It's about preserving history and enjoying the stories that coins like the 2021 crossing the Delaware tell. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, coins like these are a perfect addition to any collection. Top 2, we're diving into a coin that might be hiding in your collection right now, a 1982 United States quarter dollar. This particular coin may look like just another standard quarter, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or new to the world of numismatics, you'll definitely want to stick around for this one because what we're about to reveal could change the way you view your coins forever. Let's take a step back and look at the 1982 quarter in context. This year marks a special time in U.S. history, and as you probably know, coins minted during this period can sometimes have interesting quirks that make them more valuable than you might expect. The 1982 quarter was struck during the final year of the U.S. Mint's transition from using 90% silver in quarters to using a more cost-effective copper-nickel composition. So, if you're holding a 1982 quarter, there's a chance that it could be more than just a regular piece of pocket change. In fact, depending on its condition and other factors, it could be worth a small fortune. Now, what makes the 1982 quarter particularly fascinating to collectors? It comes down to its rarity and certain minting errors that make it stand out from the rest. The first thing you need to know is that not all 1982 quarters are created equal. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters, but very few of them have survived in pristine condition. Most of the coins that were circulated have been worn down from years of use, which means finding one in uncirculated condition is a real treasure. Collectors love coins in excellent condition because they are much rarer than their worn counterparts. In fact, coins that have been well preserved can fetch far more than face value, and in the case of the 1982 quarter, that means it's highly sought after by collectors looking to add a unique piece to their collections. But it doesn't stop there. One of the reasons the 1982 quarter is especially valuable is because of certain minting errors that occurred during production. Minting errors are like little treasures within treasures, and they can significantly increase the value of a coin. For example, there were reports of the 1982 quarter featuring double dies, a minting error where the design on the coin is imprinted more than once, resulting in a blurry or overlapping image. These double die coins are highly desirable because they are rare, and even the slightest imperfection in the design can make them more valuable. Another potential error on the 1982 quarter could be the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, which results in the design being stamped in an uneven position. Coins with off-center strikes are considered mistakes, but to collectors, they are often seen as one of a kind, adding a unique characteristic to their collection. If you happen to own a 1982 quarter with either of these errors, you're sitting on a rare and valuable find. So, how much could a 1982 quarter be worth if you find one with these minting errors or in pristine condition? Hold on tight, because the value of this little quarter might surprise you. In fact, a single 1982 quarter in uncirculated condition, especially one with a minting error, can be worth up to $61,000. Yes, that's right, $61,000 for a single quarter. You may be wondering, how is that possible? Well, coins with minting errors or those in exceptional condition can command incredibly high prices in the collector's market. The rarity of a 1982 quarter in perfect condition, combined with the possibility of finding one with a rare minting error, makes it a coveted item for coin collectors and investors alike. And with prices like these, it's no wonder that collectors are constantly on the lookout for these valuable coins. So, how can you tell if your 1982 quarter is one of these valuable gems? First, check its condition. If it's been in circulation for a while, chances are it's seen some wear and tear. But if you happen to find one that looks almost brand new, or has been stored in a way that preserved its pristine state, you may be looking at a coin worth far more than 25 cents. Next, look closely for any potential minting errors. Examine the design carefully for double strikes or off-center impressions. Even small inconsistencies in the design can make a huge difference in the value of the coin. If you spot any of these errors, congratulations. You may have just discovered a rare treasure that could be worth a significant amount of money. Now, whether you're planning to sell your 1982 quarter or simply add it to your collection, it's important to remember that the coin's value is determined by more than just its age. Condition, rarity, and any unique features like minting errors all play a huge role in determining how much the coin is worth. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these special quarters, you could be holding onto something that is not just valuable, but a piece of American history. To wrap things up, the 1982 United States quarter dollar is more than just a simple piece of currency. It's a collectible with potential, and if you happen to find one with a minting error or in perfect condition, you could be looking at a coin worth $61,000. That's right, $61,000 for a quarter. Top 3, we've got a real treat for you. If you thought all quarters were just the same, think again, because we're about to dive into a coin that could be worth a small fortune. That's right, today's focus is the 1981 United States quarter dollar. It might look like a regular coin from your pocket, but there's so much more to it than meets the eye. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone just starting out, this coin is definitely one you'll want to pay attention to. Let's start by understanding the background of the 1981 quarter. It was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning between different designs and materials for its coins. While 1981 wasn't a particularly notable year in terms of historical events for the U.S. Mint, this particular quarter holds some surprises when it comes to rarity, condition, and errors that could drastically change its value. Most of us have probably tossed a 1981 quarter into a coin jar without a second thought, but the truth is, finding one in exceptional condition can be incredibly valuable. And it's not just about being in great condition, this quarter also has the potential for minting errors, which is what truly makes it a gem for collectors. You see, coin collectors are always on the lookout for unique coins that stand out from the crowd. While many 1981 quarters are easily found in circulation, there are some that feature interesting and rare errors that make them much more valuable. The first thing to look for is the condition of the coin. While it's easy to forget about these coins after years of being tossed around, if you find one that's in near mint or uncirculated condition, you might be holding on to a small fortune. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition are always worth more than those that have been used in everyday transactions. But that's not all. There are certain types of minting errors that can make the 1981 quarter worth much more than its face value. One of the most common errors found in coins from this era is the double die error. This occurs when the design is stamped onto the coin more than once, creating a blurry or overlapping image. In some cases, the doubling of the design can be subtle, making it difficult to spot at first glance. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1981 quarter with a double die, you found something incredibly rare, and that means it's likely worth much more than 25 cents. Another potential error that makes the 1981 quarter interesting is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, which causes the design to appear misaligned or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are often seen as mistakes, but to collectors, they are unique and highly sought after. These errors can be a game changer for a coin's value, making it a valuable discovery if you happen to find one in your collection. Collectors also look for coins that have been well preserved. The more wear and tear a coin has, the less it will be worth. A 1981 quarter that shows no signs of circulation, or one that has been carefully stored away from the elements, can be worth significantly more than its face value. Coins like this are often graded and certified by professional numismatists, which adds another layer of value. But let's get to the most exciting part, the potential value of the 1981 quarter. If you happen to find a 1981 quarter in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be sitting on a coin worth up to $64,000. Yes, you heard that right, $64,000. For a single quarter. It's truly mind-blowing to think about how something so small could hold such tremendous value. So, how can you tell if your 1981 quarter is one of these valuable treasures? First, check its condition. If it's shiny, sharp, and shows no signs of wear, you might be dealing with a coin that could fetch a pretty penny. But beyond just looking for a good-looking coin, examine the design carefully. Look for any signs of minting errors. Is there a doubling of the image? Does the design look off-center or misaligned? If so, you might have an error coin on your hands that could skyrocket in value. Now, I know what you're thinking. How often do these rare and valuable 1981 quarters actually turn up? The truth is, not very often. That's what makes them so exciting. Coins from this era were minted in large numbers, but finding one in perfect condition or with an error is much harder than it sounds. That's why collectors are always on the lookout for these hidden gems, and why a single 1981 quarter with the right features can be worth thousands of dollars, but don't just take our word for it. If you're unsure about whether your 1981 quarter has potential value, consider getting it professionally graded. Certified numismatists can help you determine if the coin is truly rare, and they can give you an accurate estimate of its worth. Whether you choose to keep it in your collection or sell it, knowing the value of your coins can help you make informed decisions about your collection. To wrap things up, the 1981 United States quarter dollar might just be the key to unlocking a hidden treasure in your coin collection. From its potential for minting errors like double dies and off-center strikes to the incredible value of a coin in perfect condition, this quarter is one that every collector should pay attention to. And if you're lucky enough to find a 1981 quarter in exceptional condition or with a minting error, you could be holding onto a coin worth an eye-popping $64,000. Yes, $64,000 for a single quarter. So, go ahead and take a closer look at that coin jar or your collection, who knows? The next valuable find might just be sitting there waiting for you. Top 4, we have something truly exciting to share with you. Something that could completely change the way you look at a simple quarter. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1988 United States quarter dollar, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your coin collection a little differently. Now, you might be thinking, a 1988 quarter? What makes that one special? It's true, in the grand scheme of US quarters, the 1988 quarter might not jump out at first glance. But let me tell you, this coin has a story, one that could make it worth far more than just 25 cents. If you've got one of these in your collection, or even better, in perfect condition or with some minting errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, let's take a closer look at what makes this coin such a rare find and why it could be worth so much. The 1988 quarter was struck as part of the U.S. Mint's regular production. The design is the traditional Washington quarter, featuring George Washington on the obverse side and an eagle on the reverse. It was a simple, classic design that most of us are familiar with. But what makes the 1988 quarter interesting isn't just the design itself, it's the rarity and potential errors that can turn this common coin into something truly valuable. The first thing you should know is that while the U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters in 1988, very few of them have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most of these coins were circulated and have experienced the wear and tear of daily use. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1988 quarter that looks like it just came out of the mint, you might be looking at a much more valuable piece than you originally thought. Coins that are well preserved, with sharp details and no visible wear, are always worth more in the collector's market, but what really sets the 1988 quarter apart is the possibility of minting errors. Minting errors are what make certain coins unique and valuable, and the 1988 quarter is no exception. For example, one of the most exciting errors collectors look for is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck multiple times, resulting in the design being stamped more than once. The effect can be subtle, but in some cases, you might notice a slight doubling of certain details, like the lettering or the image of Washington himself. These double die coins are rare, and their value can skyrocket depending on how prominent the error is. Another potential error to look out for on the 1988 quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, and the design doesn't get stamped in the right position. As a result, the image may appear to be shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Off-center coins are considered mistakes by the U.S. Mint, but to collectors, they are prized as one-of-a-kind pieces. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin can be, especially if the design is still mostly visible. But the real allure of the 1988 quarter doesn't just come from these minting errors, it's the condition of the coin. Coins from the late 1980s are often found in circulated condition, which means most of them show signs of wear. However, if you can find a 1988 quarter that's been well taken care of, free from scratches, dents, or discoloration, you're holding on to something special. An uncirculated 1988 quarter, especially if it has some of these errors, could be worth much more than its face value. Now, let's talk about the real value of the 1988 quarter. It might surprise you just how much a single 1988 quarter could be worth in the right condition. If you find a 1988 quarter that is uncirculated or has one of those rare minting errors, the value could jump dramatically. Believe it or not, some of these quarters have been known to fetch up to $60,000. Yes, that's $60,000 for a single coin. Now, I know what you're thinking, how is that even possible for a simple quarter from 1988? Well, in the world of coin collecting, it's all about rarity, condition, and uniqueness. When you combine a rare minting error with a coin that's in exceptional condition, it becomes a sought-after piece for collectors. This is why finding a 1988 quarter with the right combination of features can result in such an astronomical value. But here's the kicker, these valuable quarters are rare. Not every 1988 quarter is going to be worth thousands of dollars. It all comes down to how the coin was struck, how well it's been preserved, and whether it has any minting errors that make it unique. So, it's important to check your coins carefully. If you have a 1988 quarter, inspect it closely for any signs of doubling or misalignment. If it's in good shape, don't just toss it back into your pocket change jar, take a moment to consider its potential worth. If you find that your 1988 quarter has one of these rare minting errors, or if it's in pristine condition, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Coin graders will assess the condition of the coin and determine whether it has any errors, giving you an official value. Having your coin graded can increase its value even further, especially if it's considered to be in near-perfect or gem condition. To wrap things up, the 1988 United States quarter dollar may not seem like a particularly special coin at first glance, but with the right combination of rarity, condition, and errors, it can be worth far more than just 25 cents. A single 1988 quarter in perfect condition or with a minting error could be worth as much as $60,000. That's a pretty incredible return for a coin you might have never thought twice about before. Top 5 and last rare coin, we have something truly exciting to talk about, something that could turn your ordinary pocket change into a small fortune. If you're a fan of rare and valuable coins, especially those with a rich history, you'll want to pay close attention. Today's coin is none other than the 1978 United States quarter dollar. Now, this might not seem like a particularly special coin at first glance, but trust me, there's more to this quarter than meets the eye. Stick around, and by the end of this video, you'll have a whole new appreciation for the 1978 quarter and its incredible potential value. Let's start with some background. The 1978 quarter was minted as part of the regular series of Washington quarters. It features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the classic eagle design on the reverse. The coin was part of the U.S. Mint's ongoing effort to produce quarters that were easy to identify, practical for circulation, and symbolic of American values. At first, nothing about this quarter stands out as particularly remarkable. But here's the catch, it's what happens next that could make this seemingly common coin incredibly valuable. Like most coins, millions of these 1978 quarters were produced and circulated throughout the country. They ended up in cash registers, pockets, and coin jars across the nation. However, over the years, many of these quarters have suffered from wear and tear. But here's where things get interesting, finding one of these quarters in pristine, uncirculated condition is extremely rare. Coins that have been kept in excellent condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear, are always highly sought after by collectors. So, if you happen to have a 1978 quarter that looks like it just came out of the mint, you might be sitting on a hidden gem, but the rarity of the 1978 quarter doesn't end there. What really makes this coin stand out in the world of numismatics are the potential errors that could make it even more valuable. Errors happen during the minting process when the coin is struck incorrectly, and these mistakes often result in one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors absolutely love. These errors can significantly increase the value of the coin, and the 1978 quarter is no exception. One of the most exciting types of errors collectors look for in quarters is the double die error. This occurs when the design is stamped onto the coin multiple times, causing a doubling effect. When this happens, certain parts of the design, like the lettering or the details of Washington's portrait, may appear blurry or doubled. The more noticeable the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. So, if you happen to find a 1978 quarter with this error, you could be holding onto something truly special that could skyrocket in value. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be misaligned or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique, and the more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin. So, if you have a 1978 quarter with a noticeable off-center strike, you might just have a rare piece that could be worth significantly more than its face value, but it doesn't stop there. In addition to errors, collectors also look for coins that have been preserved in near-perfect condition. A 1978 quarter that has been carefully stored away, free from scratches, dents, or discoloration, is always more valuable than one that has been in heavy circulation. The key to determining the value of these coins lies in their condition. If your 1978 quarter is still gleaming with the original mint luster, it could be worth far more than just 25 cents. So, what is the actual value of the 1978 quarter? How much could it be worth in today's market? Well, the answer depends on the coin's condition and any minting errors it might have. If you've got a 1978 quarter in near mint condition or one with an exciting minting error, you could be looking at a coin that's worth as much as $68,000. Yes, you heard that right, $68,000 for a single quarter. That's an incredible amount of money for a coin that was once part of everyday transactions. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How is it possible that a 1978 quarter could be worth that much? The answer lies in rarity and demand. Coins with rare errors or in exceptional condition are highly sought after by collectors, and as the years go by, they only become more valuable. A 1978 quarter in uncirculated condition or with a rare error is a piece of numismatic history that collectors would be eager to add to their collections, driving up its value in the process. If you're wondering how to find out if your 1978 quarter has that kind of value, the first thing you should do is carefully examine the coin. Look for any signs of minting errors, like doubling or misalignment. Next, check its condition. If it's well preserved, it might be worth more than you think. If you believe your coin has the potential to be a rare find, consider getting it professionally graded. A certified coin grader can give you a more accurate estimate of its value and help you determine if it's worth selling or keeping in your collection. It's also important to note that finding a 1978 quarter in excellent condition or with a rare error is not something that happens every day. These coins are relatively rare, and the ones that make it into collectors' hands are often carefully preserved. But the good news is that if you're willing to put in the time and effort to examine your coins closely, you just might come across a hidden treasure. And if you're lucky enough to have one of these rare 1978 quarters in your possession, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. In conclusion, the 1978 United States quarter dollar is far more than just a regular coin. With its potential for minting errors, its ability to hold value when preserved in excellent condition, and its rare status among collectors, this quarter is a true treasure in the world of numismatics. If you happen to find a 1978 quarter with the right features, it could be worth as much as $68,000. That's an incredible value for a coin that may have once seemed like nothing more than pocket change. So, next time you're going through your coin collection or rummaging through your spare change, take a closer look at those 1978 quarters. You just might have a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1978 quarter and its potential value, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any future coin discoveries. Happy collecting, and best of luck in finding your own rare treasures.